Hey y'all, out here at my friend John Jennings' house, and he's a big Ford fan and a motorhead too. And I've shot some of his cars. He's got that Torino all in, that black one that everybody seems to like. Very cool car. And he's got the 302 he got for his grandson. But in 13 he went down and got the Shelby for himself. So let's take a look at his 2013 Shelby 500. John, how are you, brother?
Hey Scotty, how you doing today?
Not too bad, man. Tell me about this hot rod.
Ford does some pretty cool things, and this one topped them all. They came out with the new Shelby, new style motor, new style blower, a lot of neat features, and the coolest thing, it's a factory 662 horsepower supercharged motor.
So they got the 5.4 in it?
5.8. It's
5.8,
a special
it's a
motor
big
for
one.
013.
Wow.
Car's new from the bottom up. The suspension, the brakes, the engine, everything was designed by the SVT team to be the best of the best.
And you've put a few miles on it.
Yeah, we got about 600 miles on it. Took it a couple car shows yesterday. I see we got a few handprints from some well-wishers.
Yeah, I see that.
But the car is just an incredible car to drive. You've seen some of the other cars I've got. I've got 3 cars that make 700 horsepower, and I've got one supercharged small block. I got one John Cossey Boss 9 motor, and this thing is 662 horsepower with air, cruise, steering, brakes, and it's incredible the power band the thing's got.
The thing will roast the tires all the way through second gear with 3 big guys in the car.
Yep.
I'm here to verify that. We did that yesterday. And it's got Goodyear F1 supercar tires on it, so they should hook up and stick. What does it run in 20s?
Yeah.
Or 19s?
Yep.
20s?
20s.
No, I like it. And then with Carroll being gone, this is going to be one of the last ones he had his hand in.
Yeah. The neat thing about it was that Ford, this motor is listed as the highest horsepower production automobile engine ever installed in a car. You got Ferraris, you've got Lamborghinis, you've got McLarens. Those are not production cars. Those are custom built, specialty built cars. They may be built on a production line, but not mass produced.
Right.
The 662 horse motor in this makes it the highest horsepower mass produced automobile of all time.
Now I can already hear people screaming, "Oh, the ZR1 Vet and the Viper. It has more horsepower than both of those cars too?"
Yep.
No.
The Viper, I'm not sure about the new horsepower in the Viper, but the last word we got was the Corvettes were in that 580, 590 horse range. And when they released the new SS Camaro, they said 580 horsepower, again, highest horsepower V8. And Ford released a few weeks after that, sorry guys, 662 horsepower. You come and get it at your local Ford store.
Right. And so you've had Fords, a lot of Fords. How do you think this one compares to the other ones you've been driving?
It's just unreal. When I got the thing, they said one thing you don't want to do is drive it on cold tires, because those F1 tires, when they're cold, they don't stick well. And first time I drove it out, I unleashed the traction control, hit second gear at about 40 mile an hour, and it went sideways on me. It was about 45 degrees out. So
right.
I said, I think they may be right. So we're a little more cautious about when we get on it now, but it'll accelerate the quarter mile times because of the traction control. If you run the traction control, it kind of limits you. I know the factory specs are somewhere in the 12s. But I tell you, when you ride this thing, you'll swear that must be a misprint, because the car will...
You think they're back to lying?
you
Huh?
You never know.
They went back to their old tricks?
You never know.
Now, does this have the launch control and the key and all?
Yep, I ordered this one with everything except the nav. I didn't get the Recaro seats because I don't fit well in them.
Yeah.
And I didn't need the nav because there's a bunch of extra weight you don't want. So I got this one basically with the track pack, the wheels, the brakes, the basic instrumentation and stuff. The special wheels and tires are all part of their track pack.
Right.
So.
Now, I understand what you're saying about those Recaro seats, but they sure are neat. That had to be hard not to get that option.
Yeah.
I seen one yesterday that had them in it.
I don't think they're as attractive looking as the stock Ford buckets. They've got the loops in the top where you can put the shoulder straps and stuff through, which makes it nice if you are going to race it. But for actually just climbing in them and driving them and stuff, these seats are a lot more comfortable.
And trust me, I spend plenty of time in the front seat of mine, and they are.
Make sure when you leave you get the right black Mustang too. I don't want you to get confused to have any kind of memory.
Hey, hey. Come on, man. I had that all laid out already. It was perfect. Yeah.
We'll check before you drive out the drive.
Let me see under the hood of this one.
Absolutely.
And I love the fact that you got black on black.
Yeah, I looked at all the color combinations, and I just thought the black with the flat black stripes was just sinister looking.
Sinister looking, exactly. And I love the new headlights they put in them. I like the sequential in the back.
sequential, the LED and the sequential is cool.
Wow.
Yep, this is the new 5.8 liter, which puts you back over to around the 351 Windsor motor style, cubic inch wise, but the cylinder heads are just massive.
Right.
The valves, the overhead cam, everything is just the power in this thing, and the linear power. It's not like a pipey power. It comes on all at once and stops. This thing just pulls from ground zero right on out.
Has it instantly and keeps it. Yeah.
Yep.
Now, can you put a pulley on it or anything, get some more horsepower out of it?
They've got one of the low. We live close to Bryn Speed up here, and Bryn Speed said they're getting 900 plus horsepower with some minor modifications. Shelby has 1,000 horsepower change on it that you can do. Send it out to them. They do a fuel pump, some internal stuff, and they can make 1,000 horsepower of them. But pretty 800-900 horsepower bolt-on stuff right now is what they're looking at.
Yeah, no, Shelby's actually making the Shelby 1000. That's 1,000 horsepower straight from them. So,
Yep.
And they're using the 5.8 to do that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And I believe the modifications are not major modifications. A lot of it's just boost control, fuel pumps, some timing changes, some cam changes, things like that.
Right. Yeah. Man, you gotta love Carroll again. If you're a motorhead, it doesn't matter if you love Ford, Chevy, or whatever. You gotta have a lot of respect for Carroll Shelby. And it was so cool when he got involved with the Mustangs because he just turned out the coolest cars. That nose that's on that car, I've always loved that. And sure enough, when they made the changes, guess what? Even the stock ones have a Shelby style and type nose on it. I love how it has no grill.
Yep.
No grill. It's just open right there.
It's just open right there. Yeah.
Man.
Modified intercooler down below.
Right.
They've got all the good stuff. Yeah, I was fortunate enough to meet Carroll back just before I think I met him in 91 or 92. He was at a Shelby show, and I had my old Pantera down there, and I met Carroll, and what a gentleman.
Yeah.
I mean, you meet somebody like that has done all the things that he does, and he comes up. I was watching him going up to little kids and shaking their hands and talking to them, and it just to see people of that caliber and what they've accomplished is just being regular guys.
And I'll tell you, I've said this many times about Carroll Shelby. Carroll Shelby makes you proud to be an American.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because he went and whipped Ferrari. They changed the rules so that Ferrari could win one last championship.
Yep.
Yeah, because Carroll was coming at him, and he knew there was no way they could stop him.
We asked him about the GT and the Daytona Cobra program when he was visiting that day. Was down at a Ford car show, and he said that the stories they got from the boardroom at Ford was that when Mr. Ford attempted to buy Ferrari, and he was kind of turned down in rather a rude manner, I understand, and so he went to Lee Iacocca and the racing guys and involved Carroll Shelby and them and said, beat Ferrari. And they said, what's our budget? And he said, start with 40 million, let me know if you need more.
Right.
This was back in the 60s. 40 million was a lot of money back then.
Well,
a lot of money today, but it was a lot of money back then.
He was a creative guy. When he was trying to build the Cobras, he only had one, and he's trying to get funding for it. So he'd go show it to somebody, bring it back to the shop, paint it a different color, and roll it to another one. So the rumor got out he had 3 or 4 of them, because I saw a blue one last week, I saw a red one this week. So, but he was using the same car, just repeating them.
Yep.
And you look at him at the end of his life and how successful he was, but what a motivator just to the common man to know he wasn't always that successful.
Well, he was a Texas guy that loved cars and drove race cars, and that's what he wanted to do.
Yeah.
He just was fortunate enough, like the job you've got, fortunate enough to do what you love and make a living at it.
I'm the luckiest guy alive, I won't argue with you. And I think the deal with Ferrari, correct me, I may be wrong on this, but it seems like they had a deal to buy Ferrari, and at the 12th hour, Ferrari backed out of the deal.
Yeah, I believe the term was that Enzo Ferrari said that we're not going to sell this company to a bunch of American upstarts.
There you go.
It was rather insultive to Mr. Ford, and he decided to seek his revenge. And it wasn't very long after that he took 1, 2, 3 with the Ford GTs at Le Mans and kind of pushed it back at Ferrari. I said, hey, anybody can do this.
Right. And then I think in the modern day, all of us can respect Ford because they told the government to take their bailout money and keep it. And I went out and bought an '08 Mustang myself at that year because, I mean, that's the American way. You know what I'm saying? We're not looking for, a handout. You know what I'm saying? Maybe a hand up, but not a handout. And
Exactly.
Ford saw it coming. And they knew that, that money came with strings, and they were like, no, we ain't going to take that.
Yep.
Brother, that's a beautiful car, man. I won't say that I envy you, just because you're my friend and I know how cool you are. So if you were one of these jerks that had all these cars and didn't appreciate them, then maybe I'd envy you. But Brother, you're like I said, you're just one of the nicest guys I know, and you got some cool cars. I appreciate you sharing them with
Well,
me.
thanks, Guy. When you come back in October for the car show, we got a couple old original 427 Galaxies in there. Maybe you'll have time to take a peek at a couple of them.
Maybe that Pantera too.
Hey, we can
Still got a
we get that
Pantera?
old girl out, give her a ride.
There you go, folks. There you go. There's a 13 GT 500 Shelby from John Jennings' house. Hope you all have enjoyed it. See ya.